friends, welcome back to my channel. Thanks for coming back. So I'm going to continue working on the camel from Worlds of Wonder, and today I'm going to be using Black Widows. Now I have all the sets, and they, with the exception of a polychromos pencil from Faber Castell, because they don't make, Black Widow does not make a metallic pencil. And sometimes I just don't feel like going through all the shenanigans to make it from scratch. I admit to being a touch lazy sometimes. So they have a skin tone light, a skin tone dark, a cobra, a scorpion, and a black widow. And then the new monarchs. So I have here a this is a Midnight from the Skin Tone Dark, and this is Snow from the Skin Tone Light. This is Dark Tan from the Scorpion. And this is from the Skin Tone Dark, and it is Negra, which really is, whoops, there we go, sorry. And then we have the Fawn from the Monarch set also. So I thought that these colors would be a nice complement. Excuse my, I have a, see this? This is how I see sometimes, because I have such poor eyesight even with glasses. This is a godsend. If you have struggled with eyesight issues, this thing is a godsend. It clamps to my desk and it has a weighted base, which can also attach to, so I'm gonna push that aside, but it really helps when my eyesight is not cooperating. So, as I said, I think these colors would be great because two things. One, it would tie into the main tent, which I did do a video for and accidentally deleted it. Oh well. And I think that it would also tie into this a little bit without everything looking too busy. So, sorry about that, that was my phone going off. So anyway, I thought these colors would be not only a nice complement to the tent, but a nice complement to what I'm probably going to do the camel as. And it won't look too busy with this, because there's a lot going on with this part of the blanket. You know, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, I don't know, like 10 colors, believe it or not. So there's a lot going on here, and there's a lot going on here. So I need to keep it simple, because when you do busy at top, busy, bright at top, bright, the eyes have no place to rest. So, like, for example, that's why this tent back here and this tent back here aren't super busy, and the camel will not be super busy. Your eyes have to find a place to rest, or it's just gonna, your eyeballs and your eyes are gonna go, I don't know where to go here. So these I thought would be a great complement to all of that without taking away from anything. So having said that, I also am going to use this, I think, either this or the gold polychromes, I'm not sure. I have this one out. I think it would be a nice complement. I should have used it up here. So, having said that, I'm going to start here, and I think I'm going to there. I have the music isn't too loud. That's another thing when I'm trying to do to maybe get rid of that buzzing sound, is just play something in the background to see if it kind of counteracts it. I don't know what the deal is. You know, I'm not a technical wizard. I can color. So I'm trying to figure out, you know, I thought it was a feedback issue, but that doesn't seem to, trying to figure out what I'm going to do here. I guess I'll do this. But, you know, I shut off my computer speakers, and I've pulled my phone away from my camcorder, so I'm kind of hoping that will help. If anybody who is watching has any advice to give on that, I would really appreciate it. It's kind of driving me crazy. I have a cheap camcorder. I couldn't really afford, you know, a really expensive set of equipment. So I'm just trying to kind of figure things out as I go. I think this would look great up against here. And one thing too, if you can help it, hold your pencil a little further back. It will help you color with a lighter hand. And plus it keeps my hand out of y'all's way. Because there's nothing worse than, you know, coloring something and then you go to show it and your hand is like totally covering up what you're doing. It's like you just want to kind of face palm or something. One time I was recording something and I forgot to turn my mic on. Yeah, it's like one of those times I'm just like, really? Yeah. So those are what I call facepalm moments. Now I could tell already I'm going to have to darken that up a little bit in some respects. I really love this image. I think I'm going to do, and I've gotten it dirty. Yikes. I think I'm going to do like a sand dune kind of background maybe. I don't know. So, I would be open to ideas. I've seen a lot of different, oh, I'm sorry. This was Fawn. My apologies. And I'm going back to the Negra here. This Negra is a really wonderful reddish brown. Almost, what's it? Brick brown, but it's a wonderful reddish brown. I love it. It's from the Skin Tone Dark set. It's really nice. But yeah, I really love this color. It's one of my favorites. I haven't colored dark skin in a while, but you know, you can use these colors for more than just, you know, skin tones. But I'll tell you, the skin tone set from the Monarch, from the Black Widows, that's what I first started doing skin tones with, was the Black Widow skin sets. That's what I cut my coloring teeth for skin on, was the Black Widows. It was fabulous for me because it sort of put all together what you would need for a basic skin tone set for, you know, light skin and dark skin. And you know, I graduated from just using strictly what was in that set to what was in, toward mixing them both, and then, you know, gradually not needing. It's like when you first learn to ride and you're on a tricycle. Then you go to a regular bike with training wheels, and then you take off the training wheels and you start coloring with that, or you start riding your bike with just the two wheels. It's a little like that. That's how I kind of feel, you know, it went. I mean, does that make sense? Maybe? I don't know. Alright, let's go back to, I think I'm going to pop in some dark tan. I don't have cards for this yet, for the Black Widows yet. I just finished carding and laminating my Prisma cards last night, and boy, what a chore that was. Whoo-wee, 150 pencils. I had to have the hubby help me. I was like, honey, I need help cutting these out. He was a godsend. Ooh, this looks nice. I like this. I may have to write this in my set of mixes. I have a big book, if you haven't noticed, that I keep track of, you know, like color combinations for different sets and the swatching color, you know, where I've swatched them out and stuff like that. Ooh, that would actually, this actually would be a good to do the camel with, partly. Now, what I'm going to do is grab a little, just a little bit of black, just on the very edge of the blanket, where the blanket starts, just to sort of mimic a little shadow. Not on that side, but right down here maybe. Kind of, it basically deepens it up and little, and just a little, mind you, goes a long way here. You don't want the black to basically take over. Oops. Hold on. Oopsie. Hold on while I fix this. Thankfully that'll get covered up. Alright. Ooh. I'm liking this. I think I'm even going to bring this up here a little bit, actually. I'm sort of adding to my regular blanket a little bit while I think about it, because I think this color is actually doing really nicely for adding a little depth. I've been meaning to do that anyway. And even though my hand is right near the tip of the pencil, I'm not using a whole lot of pressure, because I don't want this to take over, but I want to add a little depth here. And I'm also using the side of the pencil, not the tip. Oops, make sure I'm still on screen. When you use the light or the side of the pencil, you can get a much softer look than when you use the tip. That's just a little tip I've learned. Oh guys, can you hear those cicadas outside? Honestly, those cicadas, they are so insanely loud. It's absolutely ridiculous. Anybody else who's watching in the States knows what I'm talking about. They're just so loud. It's absolutely ridiculous. You have to be careful when you're using black, though. You know, they say everything goes with black and white, but the thing is that when you're using black, you really have to be careful because it can go sideways, like really quick. It's black and white are such unique colors, you know, that it requires some special handling. Now, what I'm going to do for these little balls right here, I'm going to jump to that, is I'm using this copper from the Polychromos Faber Castell, and I'm going to add these in while I think about it. I'm doing my best to keep my hand out of the way, but it is easier said than done. And I don't see any of these over here, but I do see the scallops, so I guess I'll just go ahead and I don't know why she didn't take this and continue it to the other side, but which is what I would have done. Now what you can do is with this, I can fill this in really quickly. Hold on a second. Pop this up so you can see a little better. There we go. Sorry about that. Okay. Oops. Sometimes my little artist drawing board thing that I use, sometimes it tends to move if I've got to find a way to secure it to my little tray that I have it on. It likes to travel on me if I push too hard. Now what I've done with that is you can take a complementary color like say this Negra and making sure that your pencil is still sharp, which mine is not, so hold on one second. Alright. Is you can just add a little, I'm trying to get my hand out of the way. Use the Negra kind of all but the center of this part and just use the metallic to sort of add a little shine, maybe like toward the middle. Or you can just color right over it heavily. It's kind of, you know, up to you. But taking a like a metallic pencil like this, that's really to me the trick to using them, is to don't use them alone unless it's for a super tiny area like that. Just use it in conjunction, like with something else, so that it just basically adds depth. And I think what I'm going to do is just color right over it so that it basically will brighten this Negra up a little bit and add a little shimmer to it so that it's not, you know, flat looking. also see something I need to fix. Where is it? So I just noticed something we need to fix. There we go. Perfect. There, you see what I mean? It adds a little depth, and you can go back in with your black, which is from the skin tone set. It's midnight, and you can sort of line it a little bit. I mean, if you really wanted to get, you know, finicky with it, and just kind of go along the line. And that just sort of defines it a little bit. But you have to be careful you stick to the line. And this will sort of help define it. And you can do the same for here if you really want to, but I personally am not going to because it's too small an area. But what I am going to do is use this Negra, and I'm going to go over this brown part. But you see how that really just sort of helps make that pot? And it kind of defines it a little bit. Sometimes you may not want to do that, but in this case, I think it looks stunning. And I'm actually going to add the black to this part also, but not by itself. On this side, this really doesn't follow through to the other side, but I'm going to use the black right here. I wish she had drawn these more the same, but you know, that's just me. I don't draw much, but I would have made these a little more similar. I'm a big fan of symmetry. So, you see how that's starting to come together? Now, what I'm going to do is grab a different pencil. Pardon me while I sharpen it. And this is from the Cobra set, and this is charcoal. And I will get some cards made up for these so I can, you know, you guys can see better. Oh, sorry about that. So you guys can see better the color. I just haven't been able to get to it. But, as I said, I'm going to take this and I'm going to go through the center of it. Because what this will do is this will add depth. And then I'm going to go back in with the black toward the outside. You'll see. Oops. Rats. Hold on. Oopsie. There is a very fine art to using these things. It is something I have had to practice at. It does take a little practice. And I'm gonna go in through here. And I'm pushing a little bit harder. These pencils, the Black Widows, can be very creamy, some of them, and some of them can be a little hard. But overall, these kinds of pencils, the Black Widows, all of them, I highly recommend for this kind of paper. They do very, very well. The softer the pencil, the easier you're going to get a wax bloom on these kinds of paper books, because there's no tooth. So, you know, the harder pencils tend to have a little more oil to them. Even if they're wax based, they will have a little more oil, so they they don't wax bloom as easily. That's just kind of the way it is, in my opinion. I've used Holbeins like this one right here in the back. I did with Holbeins mostly, and I had a very difficult time trying to color it without getting a wax bloom. It was really hard. The Prismas were a little better, but it was really hard. So I recommend the firmer pencils. The Black Widows, the Polychromos Fabers, Shapir Farbins, Ergosofts, let's see what else, Artezas, you know, any of them kind of, not the Verithins, although the Verithins could do, I mean, they're about the hardest thing I know of. They're great for like detail, fine detail. I personally don't like them though. I don't have the patience. But I just find that the harder pencils just do way better in these kinds of books. And if you're wondering why this is out of the book, it's, well, the glue, basically, I used one page that had a lot of water media to it, and it seeped into the glue, and I basically had to take the book apart to avoid further damage. Wasn't that good? So I'm going to go in with the white here, and I'm going to sort of lighten it back up a little, because I realized it got just a little bit too dark in the center, and I want to add that depth back in. And white is not always the answer to adding depth. It is not always the answer. Sometimes it is, but sometimes not. In this case, it is. I'm going to add a little bit of that brown just to tie it in just a little, mind you. This is the Negra. I'm going to add, which is funny because it's brown, not black, and Negra is like Spanish for black. I think, don't quote me, but I'm going to add a little bit of this brown into the black, just to kind of tie it in, I think. That looks really nice. All right, so moving on. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. So I decided to change things up a little. It's always that way. You know, as you're working on things, sometimes your plan changes. So I grabbed the Faber Castell Polychromos Gold, and then I also grabbed the Deep Red from the Cobra set. There we go. I'm going to do something because I think this will look really nice. Oops, I need to sharpen it. Oops. Hold on. Always make sure your pencils are sharpened. Preferably before you start taking. And I know in the past I haven't put a list of pencils that I've used. I will try to do that for this time. Sometimes I just forget what I've used. And, you know, I put them back and it's like, oh geez, what did I use? I know I'm not the only one. It happens. But I'm going to try to do that, since I don't have cards this time, unfortunately. I will fix that, though. Now, one thing she did keep the same is this is over here. So, make sure it's still up here. There we go. Alright, perfect. I'm just making sure it's centered. Alright. Now, I'm not going for like massive amounts of depth here and there and super realistic and all that jazz. I just wanted to look nice. You know, I think that's the one nice thing about Johanna's books is that it's not one of those books that if you don't do it super realistic looking, it's gonna, you know, look dumb or something. It's not one of those books, and that's, I think, why part of why she's so popular is that you know, she encourages all skill levels to just jump in and participate and have fun, you know, and don't stress over if it's hyper realistic. You know, I know of a streamer that is that way, and it's part of why I think she's so popular. She just encourages everybody to just have fun. You know, don't worry if it's super realistic. Just have fun. You know, enjoy yourself, relax, and just, you know, do you. You know what I mean? People can be cruel, and you know, if it's not super perfect or whatever, sometimes people can be really cruel. And that's why I'm glad that some of the groups I'm in really crack down on that sort of thing, because I think we all need, you know, that positive reinforcement. And I'm glad when I see that they're taking that seriously, that they're not, you know, letting people get put down or bullied. I really respect that. Now what I'm going to do is, that's just a base layer. Again, this is using a metallic pencil in conjunction with another color. You can see when I'm using it by itself how flat it looks. Okay, that's right there. It looks flat. However, if you take that and you incorporate another color, you're going to get magic. And I'm taking that, and this is the Negra. It's one of my favorite colors for the Black Widows. And you see that I'm doing just a little. Hopefully you can see. I hope my hand's not in the way. Just a little to start, just to see how it you know, if my instincts are right. That's the one nice thing about going in gentle, is in case you're wrong, you can sort of it's easier to fix it if you don't go all, you know, hardcore with it. You're like, that's not really working. You just kind of throw this and that at it until you cover it up. Or you just break out the battery eraser. And as you can see, what I did with here is I just used it to sort of make things pop. There's, you know, they're not useless. I know a lot of people don't use theirs, but really, they're not useless. There's ways to use them and incorporate them into your coloring. You don't have to just, you know, abandon them. I mean, you can, obviously, but I've learned to use them in conjunction with other things, and it does add a whole new dimension. You see that, how that is? Now I'm going to take this and I'm going to go back in with the gold. And very lightly, I'm not using a lot of pressure either. think I want a regular brown. Bear with me. Not a chestnut. I am going through the pencils. Ta-da! This is all my black wood, as you guys. Woo, look at all that. That's all my, I know you can only see part of it. That's all my black wood. As I have them all, the skin tone dark, the Monarch, the Cobra, the Scorpion, the black wood. I have them all in one ginormous case. And believe me, this thing is heavy. Let me tell you, it is heavy. And I'm looking for basically a straight up brown. Let's see. Oh, this will work, I think. Let me test it real quick. Yep, this is what I was looking for. Okay. I'm going to use this mud from the skin tone set. Oops. Sorry. Out of frame. And I'm going to try something. I hope this works. You can see me crossing myself. I'm going to try a little experiment here. I hope this works. We'll see. I don't pretend to know everything, guys. I am not a professional artist. I am an amateur. But I'm an amateur that loves art. I love making art. I love learning new art. You know, expanding what I know. And it's fun, you know. Oh, that looks great. That looks absolutely great. And I'm using that gold from the Faber as a highlight, basically. Now I'm using light pressure right here. Now that I've kind of gotten into the middle a little bit more, I'm just going to use that as a highlight. And a little firmer pressure toward the outside. Ooh, I likey. Now, we're going to go over here, and I'm going to try to position this so you guys can see. Hold on. If my desk would stop moving, that would be great. I hate having technical issues. It's annoying. I just want to make art and not worry about technical stuff. It drives me nuts. And don't forget to rotate your pencil in your hand, or you'll end up with a lopsided point. It's not quite as necessary on the harder pencils, but you still need to do it every so often. But the softer the pencil, the more often you'll need to do it. Here I'm just using a medium pressure, medium to light, medium on the outside, light on the inside. And I'm just kind of bringing this in a little bit to kind of make it into just a full-on, oops, that was a little too heavy there. Crap. Sorry. Hold on. Did a oopsie. My hand slipped and I just went a little harder than what I intended. Sorry about that. Alright, let's try this again, shall we? That's the nice thing about the Widow pencils. You don't need to push very hard. Some of them can be quite creamy. They really do make excellent hair and skin pencils. And they're really good for detail. If anybody wants, I would be happy to do a tutorial over them. I don't have most of my original tins. I think I have one still. I put all my stuff, as you could saw, into cases. I do have a few of my tins still, but I'm going to go back over this too. That looks gorgeous. And I'm using a medium pressure here. What you want to do too, I'm going to blend this out a little bit. I love these Prisma blender pencils way more than the Crayon Dash. Yeah, they're not quite the same thing, but they're easier on my hands. Sometimes you need to use these and sometimes you don't, you know. And I've kind of laid down all the color that I want to lay down, so... Now the nice thing about these blender pencils is you can add more color in if you want to. Whereas the other ones, you can't really do that. It's like once you use those things on something, you're largely done, in my opinion. There. Now I'm going to go back in. Pencil down. I'm going to go back in with the Negra and just add a little bit of that back in. Just on the outside. And I'm going to go back in with, there's my darker color. And again, I'm going back in with the black, just which is the Midnight and the Skin Tone set, and just going just on the edge part and on the line maybe. Just basically for depth, just a little. Just a little, you don't want too much. Now, I think I have to decide what I'm going to do with that red. And I think, honestly, the white looks good if I left it white. But, I don't know. I think the white would look great. Oh, I forgot about that part. Alright. I'm just going to do a basic white here, and I might try to add a little depth later maybe. I'm pushing sort of hard but not super hard. Now I'm going to take, I'm going to add another pencil because what I want to do is there it is. I want to deepen up this red without actually adding more red. So I'm going to take a little bit of this, see, make sure you can see it. There we go. It is from the Black Widow set, and it is called Tarantula. And it's kind of like that reddish brown. It's kind of in that family. And I'm going to basically go around the edges of the triangle. I'm going to line it first. I know I'm probably in the way here. Sorry, I know my hand's probably in the way. But what I'm doing is I'm lining the triangle, but I'm erring on the red side of it. Desk will not stop moving on me. And I'm just lining it a little bit. first world I meant, sorry. First world problems. Ugh. There we go. It's just, yeah, I'm pushing and the darn desk just doesn't want to hold still in me. Alright, so what I'm doing, if in case my hand is covering it up, is I'm basically going in just a little bit into the triangle, not a lot. We're talking just a tiny bit, and I'm leaving just a little bit of, and I'm not going in super hard either, like medium, and I'm going in and I'm leaving just a little bit of the red in the middle, which I'm going to go back over. It's a tiny little stroke, almost none at all. It's a little tiny stroke. You could just about just go straight down, actually, thinking about it. You could just kind of go straight down. That would be a whole lot easier, and it is. Okay, I take back what I said. You could do two tiny little strokes, or you could just go straight down. And I'll show you what I mean. This, I think, is a lot easier. It's fun that the things I learn when I'm taping and doing things kind of on the fly, I learn so much. And it's cool that I think you guys get to learn with me, maybe. I hope. Okay, so we're going back to the Deep Red from the Cobra set. I'm going to go back in, and it's still sharp, so I don't need to sharpen it, and lightly go back over it. Well, light to medium pressure, not like super hard, but light to medium. And I'm going to sort of blend that in a little bit. This particular color is really opaque. It's a wonderful red. It's really opaque. But you see how I went back over that Tarantula with the Deep Red? And I'm just literally going right back over it. But I still have that depth. Now if you wanted to further blend it, you could... Dang. I lost my finger pencil. Hold on. Okay, this is what I mean. I'm going to sharpen this real quick. And gently. Oh, hold on. This is not okay. That was bugging me. Y'all know how it is. It's like you see it, no one else made, but you see it. It's like that. And I'm just basically going back over it. Not too hard, but not too light. You know, somewhere's in the middle of the road. And always make sure you clean your blender pencil off, because the wax will accumulate on the tip, and that can cause blooming, wax blooming, and it can cause your colors to not blend in the way that you want. So it's always really important, A, to make sure they stay sharp, and to keep the clips, bleh, words are hard, keep the tips clean. So, sorry about that, it's my phone. There. I do apologize for that, guys. I have my phone on vibrate and it's still making noise, and I don't understand that. The technology is kind of beyond me. Anyway, where was I? See? Ta-da! Doesn't that look amazing? And really, I could take like a gray. Here it is. I think this is. Yeah, this is a Greythorn from the Skin Tone Dark set, and I could go in the corners just to add a little depth. You don't want to go too far because then it's going to look, you know, gray instead of white, but just in the very corners. And if you wanted to, you could go back over with the white. This is a really nice color, by the way, this Greythorn. This is a really nice color. Really nice color. It's one of my favorite colors. I'm not sure why gray would be on a skin tone set, but I don't remember this color being on there, but eh. Alright, now what I'm going to do is go back in with that white. Not too heavily. Just color over all of it back again. Oh shoot. Oh, I just noticed something. Hold on. Y'all, I'm about to throw my phone out the window, honestly. I have it on vibrate and it's still going off. I don't understand. I'm about to throw it out the window. I'm sorry, when I was, you know, a teen, cell phones looked like bricks. So as an adult, it's kind of a, you know, sometimes I struggle with the technology. It's like, what am I doing here? Now here I'm using a little bit harder pressure just to blend out that gray. There. And that basically just, you could go in with a Posca or something like that, but I don't go super crazy with the Posca. The only thing I need to fix is right here. And I think some more of that red would be lovely. I think. So, I'm going to find my red. And I'm going to pop a little more of that red up here. And this time I think I'm just going to add the red a little heavier on the outside. Sorry. My desk is not going to hold still today. That's good. Now I'm going to grab my warm brown, which is essentially the Tarantula. There we go. And that's in the Black Widow set. Ta-da! And I'm just going to go through the very edge. Just to add that depth back in. And I'm going to go over the line with it firmly so that that line pops back out. going to do it down here too. It helps that definition sometimes is important. And in this case, because I'm using a limited palette, there. I hope you guys are not hearing that. Oh my goodness. Yeah. All I need is a little bit up here and I am done. What do you think, guys? What should I use? I think some more black would be great. So I'm going to go in with the charcoal, which is in the Cobra set. I really hope you guys can't hear that. I live somewhere that this happens twice a day. Every day. Without fail. You get used to it. Okay, and here's the midnight. I really hope you guys can't hear that. Jeez. I forget about it sometimes. I'm so used to it. Now, instead of using the charcoal, I'm going to add the white, which is from the Skin Tone set, Skin Tone Light. Now, one more little spot and I is done. Oh, this looks beautiful. No. Toot my own horn, but yeah, that looks good. I like it. I think I'm going to use my fawn. I think this would be a great color to do one of the good colors to do the camel with. It's really nice. These lighter colors from the Monarch tend to be a little creamier. The Monarchs in general are creamier. So let's find the darker brown, which I think the Tarantula will go good, which is from the Black Widow set. And I'm going to line this part. I'm going to go in with the fawn again and just kind of reinstitute that highlight a little bit. It's better to go in with the light first, because sometimes, you know, you can always go darker, but sometimes going lighter is a whole lot harder. Now, I think this is not dark enough, so I'm going to grab my Negra and I'm going to line this a little bit. And I'm just going in at the corners and at the side, just a little bit. There. I'm also going to line this a little bit so that it stands out from the tent. Finishing touches. Boy, I like that, guys. What do you think? Oops, sorry. What do you think? Pretty good, right? I like it. I used the Black Widows and 2 Faber Castell Polys metallic pencils. I like it. So anyway, that's it for the Camel page today. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the comments section, and I will post a list of the pencils that I used, and I will try to do that in the future, and when I do pages like this, because I know sometimes it's helpful to me. So, anyway, have a blessed one, guys.